is so important in the recruiting process. What do you do when there's a kid that thinks he's good enough to go, but he's just not? Like, have you ever had to like just break that down to him, or you're probably just not going to get there, or because that's got to be a really hard part of being a high school coach, because a lot of these kids, they get hyped up. They think they're good enough, but sorry, kid, you're probably not going to make it. Like, so, but at the same time, you're a mentor, and so how do you approach that when a kid he's just not athletically or just not talented enough to make it up there, and you got to break that down to him?
Yeah, so we keep it in perspective from day one inside of our meetings with our parents. We let the parents know, and we let the players know inside of this introductory meeting. It's a huge meeting. I cater out food. We sit down, and I'll let them know, your life outside of football is going to be so much more precious than your life in football. So let's keep things in perspective. You're not going to leave here and go to the NFL. You'll leave here and go and get your degree. You'll leave here and go and make your life better in that facet. If there's a small chance to play professional ball after that, it will show up because of your success at the college level. So let's talk about that. Exposure works two ways. I take them to these college coaches in their camps. I take them to the junior days to meet the coaches and develop relationships. But I also take them to college football practices so they can get a vivid picture on what these guys actually look like. So if I'm a 5'7" defensive back, now I played defensive back at the Division I level, and I'm 6'2", right? So they got a pretty good understanding of how big defensive backs are. So if you're 5'7" defensive back, I'm not going to say you can't play college football at all. I'm going to say you just can't play here. Because assessment-wise, they're not going to recruit your size at that position. But if you do what I asked you to do in the classroom, you give me a 3.5 GPA, you bust your butt, I can find someplace for you that'll be in love with the 5'7" guy that comes out of our program. And so we have been able to do things that way. So it's just a general assessment of the kid's skill, their ability, and their size. And I tell the parents, very vividly, I cannot control their genetics. I can't stretch them and make them 3 inches taller. Whatever they have been given by God and by the genetics of mom and dad is what I have to work with. And college coaches are height freaks. They love height. And if you're not tall and long, that's a lot of points against you. So I try and be very clear with them. You'll have a chance to play college football. It just may not be where you dream of. So when you get here at that meeting, I tell them all, you're not a fan of any university anymore. You're not a fan. You're a fan of yourself. You got to drop the I want to go to Michigan State. I want to go to Michigan. I want to go to Clemson. I want to go to Alabama. You have to drop that. You got to go be the best version of you first. And so that's one thing that we've done. And it's hard because parents are going to believe that their son is the best ever. But the best thing that I can do is create a transparent outlook in my program and have the parents come and watch film too. So if I open up film session, so we have film session on Sundays, the players come in at 3, any parent wants, they can come in from 12 to 2:30, and they can sit and watch exactly who Johnny really is. My practices are open to the public. So if mom or dad or his uncle that played a little bit of college football somewhere believes he's an All-American, come on to practice. Come and watch who Jason really is. And we can have a transparent conversation after practice on who he is, after board drill, after somebody puts him on his back 4 or 5 times, or after we get out of the we call it the Butkus drill. You got a blocker, you got a block shedder, you got a ball carrier, you got a tackler. Once let's see who Jason is in this drill right here. Because if he can't do this drill right here efficiently at any one of them 4 spots. College football at the highest level, come on, baby, that ain't for you. Let's keep it real. So that's what I do. I make sure we keep it as real as possible. I'm not going to crush your dreams. I'm just going to allow your dreams to become reality by pointing you in the right direction. By saying, hey, you're not a Power 5 guy. You have no offers from Power 5 schools, but you got a 3.8. So I may be able to help you go to a Patriot League school. I may be able to help you go to an Ivy League school. I may be able to help you go to Air Force, Army, or Navy. So now you can play against those Power 5 schools. If you give me the film that works. Now, let's say you're a 3.8, 3.9 kid and you're 5'7". Well, I know a lot of guys at the Division III level that's going to cash you out, son. You're going to get money coming out of your ears to go and play Division III football because you got the grades, you got some ability, you just don't got the height. So my job is to be, that sports agent per se that's going to be able to wheel and deal and set up situations for my smallest guy to my biggest guy and make sure, most importantly, it's a great fit. That's why we had so many players playing on television from December the 26th until January the 1st. They weren't just standing on the sideline, cheering their team on, which is cool too. My guys were on the field getting interceptions, forced fumbles, big hits, sacks, rushing yards. My freshman quarterback that helped us win the state championship rushed for like 90 yards on 9 carries versus Nevada in the Quick Lane Bowl at Ford Field.
Wow.
He's a freshman. So for me, it's, and that's hard to do. It's hard to get in the game as a quarterback. It's hard to do. It's hard to transition from high school to college. And my guys are out there on the field because it's about the fit. Put them in systems and schemes and coaches that fit their skill set and who they are, instead of me being a fan and saying, oh, I got to send you to Michigan because, I love Michigan. Or I got to send you to Eastern Michigan because that's my alma mater. Or I got to send you to Michigan State because I really love Michigan State. I can't be a fan. I have to be a relationship-based guy with every school that comes in here because that's fair and equal to the kids that play for me.
Now, Coach Barnes, on that same set, how do you approach this? Because in the Catholic League, at Bishop Foley, the expectation is you go to high school and then you go to college. Maybe not necessarily as an athlete, but definitely as a student. So how do you find the dynamic of sending kids to college as athletes and, or just students?
Yeah. By the way, Coach mentioned Jason. I thought you were going to say you had a Davis on your team, like Coach 30 would talks about Davis. I know you see that Twitter guy. One of the funniest things, one of the funniest dudes out there. So awesome. I wish I would have thought of that. I'd be rich right now. He's hilarious. But similar to what Coach said, there are some measurables on. It is what it is that kids, if they don't meet that certain measurable, right, whether it be height, weight, or whatnot, or skill set, they might be limited as to how high they can go. And to echo what Coach said, though, we stressed our kids, as long as you have good grades, you can play college football somewhere, and you can get a lot of your education paid for and a lot of your degree paid for just by having good grades, and that's important. And I tell parents all the time, I'm currently, I'm not a college football coach, but if you think your kid is a Division I kid or Division II kid or whatnot, we, like Coach does, we really push the camp scene, go to those camps, and, those guys will give you an honest evaluation, and then you can compare yourself to all the other kids at the camp and kind of see where you are. And so that's helped out a lot. And, and I don't mean that as me taking the easy way out of it, but it definitely holds more water because I'm a parent too. I get it. But sometimes parents can be unrealistic, right, about how good their kid is. And so coming from me is one thing, but if they can get that observation from somebody who's at the next level, you know, it holds more water. So, you know, ultimately, like Coach said, the whole, like, if you play at the next level, like, you're doing something right. You know, like you've done the right thing in the classroom, and you're a competitor, and you're getting after it, and you're serious about what you do, and you're disciplined, and you want to go do it. Like, that's special. And it goes back to, again, like kind of what I talked about last week, like the game of football, like the friends you meet, you know, you're in the relationships and stuff. You're going to be talking about that the rest of your life, no matter if you're playing at Albion College or you're playing at Notre Dame. You know, you're going to have cherish those moments